Hey, hello again. Hello again. I am continuing work on getting my animator to actually update the scene as the little playhead arrives on different frames. I got interrupted earlier. I had to stop to go pick up my daughter, and so we're all back. We're ready to go and continuing work here. So, where I left off, just to refresh my own memory, is that I have this timeline model. I've just extracted this class, so I've started removing, separating the timeline data from the timeline model, and this is just going to be the pure data here. And I was about to add the notion of a new track. So I think I wanted to say, so right now, the way this works is you get, well, the example I have is this one, bouncing square. So you start with a scene with a square. So we make a square that's just a BL element, a block element, and then we make an animator, and then we add a child named square. And then we add a track for that says square position, and then have it move to these positions on these keyframes. That's being drawn here in the timeline as frame 0, frame 10, and frame 20. And then the question is, what do we do when this playhead actually arrives here? And what should happen is that we need to basically, well, we need to send the relocate message to to the square. So we have to have a reference to this square, and we have to tell it relocate. So we should be able to say, the code is going to look something like this. So self get child, or child named square. GsAnimator self. How about self scene child named square? Here's the square. We don't need that. And then we're going to say we have that thing, and then we're going to tell it to relocate. I'm going to tell it relocate to 0 at 200, which I believe is where it actually is. And then we're going to say Control G to do it. Oh, okay, so it goes there. Actually, maybe that should be negative 25. I think that's where it starts out. It's negative 25, so it's a little bit out of the scene. There you go. Yep, that's it. I didn't need Control G. I need Control D to do it. And then, rather than do it and inspect. So then, if we say 320, 280, the next one will be 320, 480. See if that's even the right place. Oh, not the right place. So how about 430? $230? Isn't this 480 things tall? And that's a... Oh, I see. That actually is the bottom. 430 would have been the bottom. But we're not scaling this. So I'm actually running out of room here. So that's the bottom of the frame. Once I lift this up, it's covering the scene. I want this to scale, but I'm not there yet. For that reason. So as you scroll it down, it should shrink the whole screen. But that's like long time in the future. So anyway, and then the last one will be 640, 240. Oh, this should be 430, right? Because we wanted to hit the floor and then bounce. And then 640, 240, which I thought would be like a little bit lower than where it started. So after the bounce, it doesn't bounce quite as high, right? Comes back over here. Oh, and actually maybe we want 590 then, right? It's a 50 by 50 square, yeah. Maybe we want 515 or 615. So it's halfway out of the frame, yeah. The 615 is probably about right. Okay, anyway, then the idea would be that as we hit these, we would make those happen. So let's do something really easy here. So let's say I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do something inefficient that works, right? Balance. I don't want animator examples. I want the animator. So GS animation track, I want GS animator. GS animator is the little app that runs all this stuff. GS app, and it binds the timeline to a GS scene and updates the scene when the timeline's playhead moves to a new frame. Basically it. In the make UI here, we set up a listener. So that when the frame changes, we can update this frame counter. And that's what's happening right here. So when GS frame change event do, and then E, and then get the frame as string, as rope text. You have to basically just set that frame up there, set that string. What do we want to do now? We want to say I want to say just like self frame changed E, right? Just pass in the and I actually need to E, right? So we'll save that, and then in frame changed. Be up here, right there. Frame changed E, and event. We'll call it an event. Small talk lingo, and event frame as string as rope text. So that's one. One thing we want to do is set that text, and then we want to do something else here. So what do we want to do? So timeline track model gives us the data. Can we say values? No. Timeline track model do? Select? And what does it say value? That would give us all whatever this is. So timeline model did not understand. Okay, so track data. Well, I'm trying to get something out of here. So we have track names, we know how to get that. We now have track count, we know how to get that. And what I really want is the something like track values. Track values for frame frame a frame a number, something like that. So this is not exactly what I want, but let's just do track data first. Can I get that track model? I can't get the track data first, right? So I'll call this method right here, track values for frame 10. So this needs to return something. So this needs to return what? Self track, or actually rather track data. Track data collect. I think this now works. Track data collect x. That could have been value, right? If I do this, I think I should get the ordered dictionary, and I get what? Square position with these items here. What I really want is, oh, I see. I got to learn how to use an ordered dictionary. Ordered dictionary, and I bet if I run this, I'll get, when I look at the comments, I'll get some bunch of nice examples. So keys do, values do, and associations do. Associations do, values do. Is there a sorted dictionary? Sorted. So instead of track values for frame, let's change this to say track data. Oh, is there a values collect? Or ordered dictionary, new values. Oh, you can say values collect, right? I think there's something called like a run collection. have to search for run array. But what I'm kind of thinking is we cache all the values, so that, like, when you create because right now I only have keyframes, and what I want is to, I think, make an array. Yeah, I think maybe this is what I want. I don't know yet. It's called a run array, okay? But okay, so really what we want is this is the list of values, and what I want. Well, okay, actually, that track data values select, save that. When I run that now, I should get just the array, right? And I want it. What I want is to basically loop through. Well, I want to efficiently index into this so that I can get the correct value here. But for now, I'm just going to loop through all of them. I need to think about like an efficient way to store this, because how many, like, if I only have like 1,000 frames, no big deal to have an array for each, with each item. If I have 1,000,000 frames and it's 8 bytes for I don't know how big a small talk object is. Like what is the size of a? Can I ask an object how big it is? Object size in memory? Object size, yeah. No, that's not what I want. That's indexable fields. I want the like memory size. Objects, memory size. Size in memory test. Size of small talk object in memory. Well, it's not small talk. It's Pharaoh, right? It's like this particular virtual machine. Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. Say it's 64 bytes, or not 64 bytes. Say it's 10 bytes, 12 bytes. It doesn't matter what it is. 10 bytes, and you have 1,000,000 of them. That's a megabyte. That's 10 megabytes, right? You can have 1,000,000 frames. Probably not. Maybe that's actually fine. Maybe just a plain old array is going to get you everything you need for the longest time. I think that's probably likely. And so we just cache a value for every single one of these, every single slot, all the way up to how many how many frames do I have? I really want this to speed up as you go further to the right. So 100 frames. I mean, most of my animations are going to be pretty small. The worst is going to be is a minute, right? So 24 frames per second times 60 seconds, 14. Yeah, that's nothing. We can have 1,000 items. What if we make it 5? 5 times that, times 5. That's what, 7,000? Yeah, 7,000 items. Nothing. 7,000 items, you know, times how many bytes did we say it was? We're going to imagine it's 10 bytes. I don't know. That's how many bytes there are. 72 megs. Wait, no. 1 million kilo. Oh, it's only 72K, right? That's 7K. 7 kilobytes. It is nothing. There's plenty of room for that. Okay. So we'll even call this values per frame. All right, let's find the implementer of this. Rename this to values per frame. Same thing. Okay. Implementers. Control M. All right, and so we're going to say track data values, collect. What are we going to store there? What are we going to store in those values? The track, right? So we're going to put a track at each one. All right, so let's go back here to where we're actually making this. Copy this. All right, well, this is a good example. Let's just copy this one. We'll start with this. We don't need this because we have an example here that's better. Bouncing square. Add track for square position with keys. Right? That's the animator. And then we're going to get the track model. Let's do that. Not track model, value model. View model. Did not understand view model. Timeline view model. Did not understand timeline, so you can't actually retrieve any of those things. So first, let's get the GS animator. Meta. And we'll add timeline. Turn timeline. And then the view model in the timeline. This will observe that. And then we'll add an accessor for the view model. View model and return track model. The view, it's actually called view model. So then do this prints, and we have a GS timeline model. And when we inspect it, we actually get track data has this, blah, blah, blah. And then we'll say values first. Actually, so then, okay, so what do we want here? A collection. So really just GS animation, GsTrackModel, GsTrackModel new, or with keys. Okay, so create the GsTrackModel. It is again a. I don't know if I should have a GS model. I'm not gonna create one now, but so this is gonna have a selector or item element name, property name, and it's going to have the cache, and it's going to have the keyframes, keyframes, and cache. Right? The keyframes is the raw data that we give it. I like this. All right. So we're going to say track is going to be this thing. Oops, come on. Came out weird. So we'll say track is going to be equal to, yeah, we'll call it label. Name, right? Track name, or just name. Right, and then we need to make this. Back to this track model, and so then we will say make that come up over here. So I can see the what I call those things. So we'll say element name is equal to a name and property first. Property name is a name and property second. Keyframes equals a collection. And then cache is rebuild cache, is build cache, is build cache, self build cache. Save that, and we'll add that method. Or we'll just call it self build cache. Right. Now we have this being sent. All right, so now we have to get the name. Hey, sweetie, what you need? All right, I'll get you. Right, she wants ice cream. I'll get you some later, okay? When I'm done, okay? All right. I get ice cream for the baby. All right. So now we want to say, what is the name? So what is the name? How does that work? What does that do? That's going to return something. So if it has a name, that worked. It didn't give me an error. What does it do? What do they call this? Square position. How does it know the name? Because I haven't saved it yet. That's why. I do it now. Now I get an error because it doesn't understand name. That's what I expect. Okay, and so then the track name. So, whoops. Adding a name would be return. So we're going to return element name, comma that, comma property name. And when we initialize, element name equals correct position. Okay, so that worked. Probably want this to come back grouped, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. I only have one track, so. All right. This is the kind. So in a moldable development environment like this, you're meant to like create a view to visualize this more interestingly. But do I have a view that I want to see? Not really. Not yet. I'm not sure. It's the timeline, right? The timeline itself. It might be interesting to show a vertical timeline or something. Oh, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could just draw a timeline, right? Maybe. Just make a timeline and draw the model, and then you could just have it in here. You'd want some kind of inspector as well, which I haven't gotten that far yet. All right, anyway. But for now, let's just look at this. What I want is a dictionary and I could definitely get a better view of this, right? But we really want to see the keyframes. But so basically, we want to see the tracks and the keyframes, which I think is fairly easy to do. But I'm not going to worry about this right now. I just want to get the thing working, not the development tool, right? Maybe that's short-sighted. I don't know. So I have this, and I want to keep this working, keep this sorted. Maybe when I do with keys, though, maybe what I want is as ordered dictionary, right? Because it's already a set of these. So what if I did that, and I did this again, and I have track data, dictionary, array. Yeah, I do want like a better view for this. It's not hard to make these things. How do I make a quick view? Oh, okay, you click on, you alt click on this, and it shows you the view, the source for this. Make a column tree. No. And then we add a GT view for GT data for GT. What would you call it? GT tree for a view, and then we say GT view. And paste all this in here. And so then we're going to say a view, it's a column tree, that's correct. And the title is tree. And the priority is 100, and the items are going to be self dictionary values, not dictionary, self track data values, track data values. And the children for each node is going to be the children is going to be the track model, the value, right? Shoot, I lost my dang it. Wait, I was okay. So, damn it. I do all that again. Tree, priority 100, and the items are self, are just track data values, and the children are whatever. Let's just save this and see what happens here. So now if I look at the meta here, and then I'm looking at the same, oh, okay. I have this here, right? So I can do this here, run this here, and look at the tree. So did I understand something? Because okay, right. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I don't have a lot of time, but so the whole point is that it shouldn't be a lot of time. So we have column, and the column is going to be track. A node, or so a node, item element, a node. What's an item? So the element is the view, so the node is going to be a track. So we'll replace this with a track. Small talk UI icons, icon name. First, how about we say first? All kinds of little names. Okay, well, yeah, first is fine. I don't know what these look like. Make a little browser for these. All right, but that's all right. So remove children. Child node icon. A track name, right? I don't even need an icon, do I? All right, and then the column frames, keyframes, a node will be a node keyframes. A node, rather a track. Keyframes. or rather the track, this should be the frame, right? Keyframes, a frame, a keyframe, a keyf, keyframe, and associate PT display text. I'm just copying what's on this line. I don't know what this is. Send value action update button. Then action update button. Send value, okay. I think we just start here. I think that'll work. We'll do something, probably. Okay, so if I run this, we did not understand. Okay, so a GsTrackModel. All right, because children names. I don't have a children nodes. Back data values. First, GsTrackModel, and then what do I do with that? What can I do with the GsTrackModel? Element name, property name. What does it do? Get its name. Oh, that should not be that, right? That's probably what's causing that problem. GsTrackModel did not understand is not empty. Okay. Text as rope text, right? I'm wasting time on this. I am wasting time on this, but it's also like this is the reason I chose this framework, right? That you can make these cool things. I don't need a node icon. Forget this node icon. I don't need an icon. Add child, br label new. Is that what I don't know what I'm getting the error from. Is not empty. Track is not empty. So item node can be expanded, and an item node is a track model. It's track model. Oh, so the track data values, view model, track data values gives me a track model, and I want that. So I have to fill in the next thing, the next token right here. I have to do something with this. Keyframe. So let's just create accessors I'm not going to make it writable for now. I'm going to make it readable. Keyframe. So we'll just ask for keyframes. A track model. Yes, GsTrackModel. Instance of point did not understand name. Oh, okay. I'm starting to see how this works. So it's a node. A node is kind of GsTrackModel. If it is a track model, if true, then a node keyframes. If false, then no. And I think just do nothing, right? Is not empty was sent to nil, so we actually want to just return an array, empty array. Yeah, so now this works. Then we want, instead of name, we want that's weird because this is two. There's two things in here. So track frame, and then a node. I made this too complicated. There's probably a better way to do this. A node is kind of GsTrackModel. If true, if false. And this is the, if it is a track model, then we want its name. So we say if true, then we just we say a node name. I think there's a way to simplify that, but and then if false, then it's not a track model. This is bad code. This is bad code. I didn't know what I was doing here, but anyways, that's the point. So then we just say a string. What does the vfit content do? Data binder, remove children, br label new. Have an extra comma, is that it? Yeah, okay. It should be the association. Why is it a key? Keyframes. I'm not expecting it to be keyframes. I'm expecting it to be, oh, a collection as ordered dictionary. Key. I really want like it to be as a list of associations. There's something like as association. Can I just get a list of associations? Associations, that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. Okay, so associations. Where was I writing all that code? Do I regret doing this? I'm not sure. It's here. So keyframes, associations. And now it should be key and value. Yeah. Wait, can I just say text? Yeah, I don't need any of this. I can just say column text. I don't want this. And then just this one little piece right here. I think I just picked an example that was just not very useful. Yeah. All right. As rope text, GT display text. All right, so that wasn't so bad. If I had started from a simpler example, that would have been pretty small. Do I even need these things? I'm not sure what those do. Added that button there. I don't know what send value means. But I'll leave it there just because I copied it and that's what I had. All right, so now I have this little thing for inspecting the timeline model. And I guess at some point maybe I can even group these by the first part of this. Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, maybe that was a waste of time. I don't know. That's a bug. Look, it's copying the same thing twice. Right. Okay, so if I run this now, I get this thing. I see all these positions, print, meta. All right. What do I want to do with this? What do I actually want out of all that nonsense? Now that I can see this and I see what I have, what do I want? Well, I was making something that's going to give me the values on a particular frame. So for each track, I'm getting this list. Actually, that should be called like values or something. And this should be like GT inspector inspection. So blah 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 blah. Oh, I want to change that name from keyframes to values right? After frame to value. I think if I click on that, I get the actual track model, and if I click on this, I would get the point, right? Click on this, I would get either one of them. I get the point. But here I get the track model. That's kind of cool. You get whatever the value is. So the view model, all right, so when I'm looking at it, I get this thing, and when I look at it raw, I have track data. That's not something I have exposed. I want something that would give me, I want to give it, right, I'm trying to make this method. So that track data, values collect, All right, so we'll say values for frame. For frame 10. And right now that gives me what? A GsTrackModel. So I go from the timeline model to the track model. Track model gives me okay, so I guess what I want is value at frame something, right? Value at frame a number. And the answer will be 100 at 100. Right? Or how about we say we're just going to hard code that for a second. Select track, or rather track value at frame a number. And there, so then when we ask for that list, we get that value. Okay, so now we say we ask for that as a dictionary, right? And then we're going to reject no, we don't, I was going to reject anything that's nil, but I think I want it to always return a value. So whatever the frame is, that's the value it's going to be. I mean, whatever the value is at that frame, that's the value it's going to be. So, boom. And the items is that, right? So now I want to see timeline track data. I think I want track data just so I can inspect it, right? Even though that's not really, you know, necessarily good encapsulate. Oh, come on. You know, I'm kind of unencapsulating something, but I want to be able to get in there and inspect it. So right, so this is the first one, a square key, and the value is a track model. Track model, track data first. Nope, you don't get first. So it's a dictionary. And the dictionary is at squared up position. Get this thing. All right, so track model. And what do I do with this once I have it? Track model, what? Like I want to find the first thing. Okay, so if I'm in here and I have this keyframes thing. I have an ordered dictionary. So let's open this up. Now I have this thing, or I guess over here I can just call it keyframes. So keyframes, that gives me the same thing. Keyframes first. Keys. So I want to find the first one. This is a load of nonsense. I don't want this, right? So rather than doing this, because I'm trying to do two things at once. In order to find this on every single frame, I would have to loop through them and compare, and starting with this one, say, okay, I want the number to be 0, then I want the number to be 10. So what I should do instead is rebuild the cache, which is a method I created here. So GsTrackModel, I have this thing called build cache. So what I want is keyframes. Do. I want to build that run array. Run array. Run array. Run away. Run array. Run array new. So browse references to this. Can I do that? Browse a class and then references. So give me an example of a run array. Test run array. Runs. Oh, values. Oh, okay. So it's like that. Run array runs 5, 10, 20, and the values are A, B, C. Right, and then I say run array, or so A or RA is this, and RA at 1. I get A. RA at 5, I get A. RA at 6, I get B. Okay, so what I want then is self, so I want keyframes. Dictionary. Can I do that? Or rather, keyframes associations do associations. Keyframes keys, right? Can I make this number infinity? Is there such a thing as infinity? Infinity. Number max? Biggest number. Number. Surely there's an infinity, right? Just infinity is the name of the thing. Okay, so infinity. it doesn't seem to exist. Box float infinity. Okay. Can I say number infinity? Oh. All right. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll just put it in a big number. So what do I do? How can I do this? 5, 10. So I have the numbers I have are 0, 10, and 20. That's a literal array, right? And I have. Hey, sweetie, I'm sorry. I'm coming. Okay, I'll come soon. I promise. Okay. I'll get you ice cream. Okay. Yes. You want it now? I know. I'll get you some soon. Okay. Just give me a minute. You just get the ice cream out of the fridge. Just eat out of the bowl. Just go get a spoon and some ice cream out of the refrigerator. Just open the drawer. No. Well, then you can wait. You can eat right out of that. That's what mommy gives you anyway. Hello, someone. Trying to figure out how to get a running sum of this. Running. What is this? Running. Is there a method called scan? No, I did this earlier. This is the same thing I had earlier. This is a inject, right? Inject. Inject into, and then you have it a block, and then you say running, val, and then or run and then val, right? So we inject. So I want, but I want. Okay, well, let's do a running sum, but then run plus val, right? That should do it. That should give me. No, that gave me 30. Just look for Pharaoh running sum of array. This whole thing makes me really miss running sum of 1D array. In Pharaoh, though. Is this Pharaoh? That does not look like Pharaoh. Was it? No. Small talk. Running sum of array. How would I want running sum? Tweak. Inject 0 into this. Yes, that's what I want. Sum. Select, reject, collect. I mean, I guess you could use collect with a temporary variable that you closed over. That's not the right way to do it, but you could say, you know, run equals 0 and inject into run equals run plus x and then run, right? So that this will definitely work. Does not work. This should be collect. And now you get 10. Yeah, right. All right, so I'm just going to do it this way, and then so I want behead. How do I do behead? So that's a sequenceable collection. It has to have a method. Sequenceable collection. Converting. Copying, enumerating, recursive do, literal testing, testing, accessing, grade collection. What do we do? Sequenceable collection. All but first, do. All but first. And then is there anything else in here? Enumerating, do without, all pairs do, with collect, combinations. All but first do. Using values do. Reduce. No, I wanted yeah, I don't have fluency with this. Like this would be so easy. This is like, you know, characters in J, like 3 or 4 characters to make all this happen in J. There's got to be a running collect from to, no, from to, all pairs do without group. It would be just, how would you do a running sum in? It's something to do with inject, right? Like inject is the inject. Or fold? All right, whatever. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. I should have like a Rosetta Stone. How do you do like all the basic things? So collect, ask how to do this. So all but first, collect. No, I can't do all but first. do. It has to be like this. So we have to say, so for x, for each one, we're going to say run equals run plus x, okay? But first we say I want to change this. So this so b equals nil, right? That's what we start with. Value equals nil. Runs is equal to, it becomes an empty array. All right. Because this could start on frame like 30 or whatever. We don't know what frame it starts on. Right? Let's forget that for a minute. So we start at val equals 0. So for frames, the current frame, current x0 equals 0, v0 equals v0 equals 0, x0 and v0 equals x. X previous and v previous are 0. Runs is empty. Runs add x. Let's do that first. That should give us an identity. That should be 0, 10, 20. It does not. Add should not have been entered in array, so instead of that, we say ordered collection new. 10, 20. Okay. We don't need we don't need to know what the value is yet. So frames is these numbers. Frames first 0 is equals 0. Frames first equals 0. If true, runs. So we do need runs. We're going to have runs is order collection new, and vals equals order collection new. Right? Frames equals 10, 0, 10, 20. Frames first equals 0. If the first frame is frame 0, if false, if it's not equal to 0, then there's no initial value, and we say like error. So error. I don't know how to throw an error. Self error. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to throw an error. Just X error, okay. Must have start frame. And must have keyframe on frame 0. Must have key for frame 0. All right, so now previous equals okay. Then we can say frames all, but first do, and then we give it X, and then we say runs add X. So xprev is 0. Okay, so we're starting on 0. We're going to force it to have 0. And then we're going to say all but first do X runs add. We're skipping the 0 now, and then xprev is going to be X. And the length of the run is going to be X minus xprev. And then xprev is the new X. And that will give us a list of, that'll give us 10 and 10. The run lengths are 10 and 10. Incorrect. Right, but then we want runs. We want to return runs. 10 and 10, that's exactly right. Okay, and then if we put like a 5 in here, then it'll be, or rather 25, then it'll be 10, 10, 5. Okay. This is like 3 characters in J. Maybe there's a way to do this in Smalltalk. I don't know how to do these running sums. It would be 3 characters, but it would be very short. Definitely be a one-liner. I think it's in K, it would be something like, you know, frames. It'd be like subtract. I forget how you do a window. I think it's like this. But whatever. But you just say for each pair, it's each pair. K has an each pair construct. I don't remember what that is either off the top of my head. I'd have to look that up. I don't use it very often, but you just want the running difference between, not even a running difference. You just want the difference between each previous. You could really just say, you know, one, you know, so be head of something, which is in J would be like be head of this, be head of frames, minus, yeah, minus, I don't know, whatever. It would be very short. I'm not in J mode right now. Let me finish this up and I'll go get my daughter some ice cream. I just want to get this method implemented. 10, 10, 5, okay. Array programmer struggles to do array programming in non-array language. News at 11. And then we need to add like the length of the timeline, like the distance between the last frame and the end of the timeline. Runs, add that, right? And then runs is what we want. All right, so then we say a run array new let's see what this is. Where the constructors are methods. I think I want class methods, right? Runs and values. Run array runs will be runs, and then values will be well, we don't, you know, so we're forcing it to start at 0. So as long as we have that assertion, then we're going to say the value, and that's something I want to remove, right? That should not be the case, but we're gonna add that for now. And then the values would be keyframes. So okay, so keyframes is what? Frames. So frames equals keyframes keys, and then so frames runs vals. Okay, frames equals keyframes keys. Runs equals an order collection new that we're going to collect. Vals equals keyframes values. We don't even need that. Values, keyframes, values. Okay. So we can get rid of this one and then run this. Yeah, that's exactly it. Since we have no interpolation here, that's exactly it. Okay, so this is it. So this is going to build the cache, and then we're going to say cache is equal to this, and we're going to even we don't even need to return it. So boom, build cache, and so we need xprev previous, and we will just rename that to previous prev. Okay, so there's keys, new, equal to 0, frames on the first 2. And this is to do actual distance to length, to end of array, to end of timeline. And then the cache It's run array runs, blah, 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 blah. Okay. That's it. And we don't need this because that's what we just wrote as a function. Okay, so now if I do this, then we build the cache with the keys, blah, 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 blah. And we can even make a class method of this in initialization. I think this fails when I try and do it like this. No, it doesn't. So say for a name and property with keys, a collection, and then we'll say self basic new for, oops, you probably want to return that. All right. Now evaluate frame is very, very easy. Cache. Well, wait, hang on. What is it? So let's rebuild this one. Okay, so now we have this, so we should be able to see the cache. Cache, and it's at is the way we do it. Items. Oh, but that. Yeah, we really need the right number of frames here. But I don't think it actually saves that data, right? So the tree's gonna be forever. What I can do is I can okay. This is gonna take forever to render because that's to render all these numbers. Can I stop it? Okay. Let's do that. Rather than adding that huge number, let's. So when I do build cache, we're just going to say add 1. And we'll clamp this number of frames. Right, so now so let's do this again. Now we only have however many there are. Oops, gotta look at the cache here, and it'll say it's a much smaller number. 21 items, yeah. Right. So cache size 21. Okay, so cache size. So frame. So okay. So value of frame, a number, and we will say cache at a number be between 1 and cache size, and then that's it. So then we say value of frame that's it. Perfect. We're so close to actually having something on the screen. I still have to loop through here and Did not understand track model. Meta timeline, right? View model is what it's called. I don't know why I keep saying value model. All right. Well, anyway, so I'm gonna take a break. I gotta go spend some time with my kid, but I think that this is good. So let's go ahead and check this in. Someone just showed up just as I'm about to leave, but I guess I'll do a quick review of where I'm at, since I was gonna do that anyway. Well, really, not much has changed on the screen yet. We've got this. We can scroll around. We can land on a frame. We know what the frame is, and we can display it up here. And now we can actually say the value of this thing at that particular frame. We can say, well, actually, values for frame here. Value at frame does not understand value of frame. Instance of array does not understand value of frame. That's actually a bug. So values for frame should be track data values collect. Track data values collect, and each track value at frame. That should work. But maybe this has not been updated to the new thing. So if I do this, boom, up here, I think this should work now. Yeah. So we know this is a list of all the values at this frame. And so if we say values of frame 10, it should be this is wrong. It's wrong because I'm starting at frame 0 like a normal person. So I really want to say a number plus 1, right? I think that's it. Yes, that's right. And that's right too. So those are my 3 keyframes, and if I say 19, then it's still at the same thing I left it here because that is correct. There's no interpolation yet. That's coming soon. But first, I want to. The very next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to maintain a list of all these objects and their values, or the property values, and set that value at each one. And that should be fairly easy to do. That should be fairly easy to do. And then when I do that, this will move. It's so close, so close. If I even want to check this in, go ahead and check it in. I'm going to go ahead and check in this code, and then I'm going to go and take a break. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do that off camera because that's just more recap. So thanks for watching. I'll be back hopefully in an hour or two, and I'm going to try and get some movement on the screen, or at least some teleportation on the screen, and then maybe we can extend what I just did to tweening, which is the point of having a cache in the first place, right? So, okay, see you soon. Thanks.